You can probably tell I'm in a hotel room, and it's kind of that's led me to this video. It's going to be another one of our oneers. Something just came to me overnight and I wanted to chat to you about it, and also not only about a device that's really stood out to me over these past couple of days in London, but also what the future of it might be, and that's the iPad mini. I have bought so much kit with me. Honestly, you wouldn't believe, and yet it struck me yesterday that one of the bits of kit I was using the most was the iPad mini. I used it on the train yesterday, reading through all my script notes coming up. I was looking at websites, a place I wanted to visit. I was responding to comments on YouTube, all on the iPad mini. And when I was in bed last night, I was watching YouTube on the iPad mini. I don't know what it is about it. Part of me thinks it's because it's the most honest iPad. It's kind of the quintessential iPad, the way an iPad should have always been. It's not pretentious, it's not trying to be something it's not trying to be super pro, it's just doing its job and doing its job really, really well. Mine's the latest gen iPad mini, and I think it's more when I'm out on the road. I use it at home. I obviously tend to be on Macs a lot more, or I use the iPad Pro for heavier work, and also it's just got a bigger display and it's lovely. That lovely display is great to watch content on, but it's too big and too cumbersome when on trips like this. The iPad mini sits in my camera bag and it travelled with me all day yesterday. I was looking at some figures, and the iPad mini makes up, I was going to say only makes up 10 to 12% of iPad sales. Now, Apple are a little bit canny on their iPad sales figures. They tend to group them all together. But there's some analysts out there that have tried to break it down, and they're equating 10 to 12% of sales are iPad mini, and I think it should be higher. It's perfectly positioned in the iPad lineup as well. Forget the iPad Pro. That's just the land of silliness. I mean, I've got one, yes, but it's not an iPad that everyone's going to buy. You've got the iPad Air on one side, which is £749, and the A16 iPad on the other side, which is £429. But that, apart from its other shortcomings, has only got 6 gigs of RAM. So why is that important? Of course, you know it's not Apple Intelligence ready. Whereas the iPad mini, now at £599 and completely Apple Intelligence ready, I think represents really good value for money. There have been rumours that we're going to get a new iPad this year, and it's those rumours I kind of wanted to chat about now, because I was wondering, are they things that you would want? Are they... So I keep looking up because I've got what's called the walkie-talkie building right in front of me. I'll take a video of it before I leave to show you what's distracting me. It's right in front of my hotel window. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm wondering if these improvements would make you want this new iPad mini if it comes out later this year. Don't forget, we've already had one raft of price increases, and I'm suggesting that if we get these improvements to the iPad mini, there will be another raft of price rises as well. And it's been 20 months since we've had a new iPad mini. So it's kind of getting around to the time they might consider releasing a new iPad mini. And if they do, there are some meaningful improvements that they could make and are being rumoured to make. And the first of those is the display. It's being rumoured that we're going to get an OLED display. And of course, OLED is great because it's richer blacks, deeper colours. It's just a much better visual display. And also, you understand what I'm meaning, it's a very visual element as well. So let's assume that the price does go up, say, by another £100, $100. At least if you're looking at a really lovely display, rather than just knowing that you've had to pay more because the RAM inside costs more, that's quite a good diversion. It's also going to, I would imagine, if we get an OLED display, get 120 Hertz ProMotion quick refresh rate panel as well. It stands to reason. The iPhone 17 got one last year, the base 17. So I can't see that they put an OLED panel onto an iPad mini, which is a premium device, and not give it some ProMotion as well. Also on the display, it could get larger. Not by much, 8.3 up to 8.7 inches. But now that we can multitask much better on the iPad mini because of the new iPad OS that we're all using, that little increase in size, and maybe even a reduction in bezel size, the more screen real estate we've got, will be really handy. I mean, again, when I was on the train yesterday, I did have at least 3 windows open that I can remember. And that's the beauty of the new iPad OS, that it allows us to do that now. So a better display, richer colours, and of course OLED is more power efficient as well. So it'll help with battery life. Not that I've ever had an issue with this. I've had to charge it once since I've been away. I left home yesterday morning about 9. It's currently the morning after 10, and I've had to charge it once in all that time, and it was used really, really heavily. Then it's as to what chip will go inside of it. It's almost certainly, I think, going to be the A19 chip that goes into there. It'll be the chip, the bin version of the chip that was in the iPhone Air. And still, I don't understand why we're getting bin versions in devices that are bigger and possibly more powerful, at least as powerful as the phones. So the phones get the full chips, but all these other devices get the bin chips. It's unusual. I don't fully understand it, but anyway, I think we'll be getting one less GPU core in the A19 Pro chip that we'd get in the new iPad mini. And of course, that's important because by the time the new iPad mini comes out, there'll be more AI. Everything's going to be much more integrated, system deep. We're going to have the new Siri, and also Apple Intelligence will be working hard throughout the system. So that extra processor power that's coming down from the iPhone Air, and the iPhone Air is with me, and I absolutely adore it. If we've got that chip in there, that will be super useful as well. Now, the other big change that could be coming our way is it could be the first ever iPad that gets an IP rating. In other words, it's water resistant. Until now, I think it's only watches and phones that have had any IP rating. And obviously it's a challenge because they've got to cut down the points of ingress where water can get in. And one of the obvious places where water can get in, apart from the charging port, are speaker grills. Well, it seems that they're going to do away with speaker grills and go for this vibration-based idea with sound-emitting surfaces. Now, I know it's not brand new. I've never heard this technology. I know it's been used by Sony on their televisions, and also LG as long ago as 2019 used it on their LG G8 thin phone. So I know the technology is tried and tested, but it's new to Apple. Now, Apple's audio engineers, when I tried that on a Magic Pad 4 the other week, for instance, the audio between that pad and my iPad Pro was noticeably different. Apple's audio engineers are great, so if anyone can crack it, it will be them. And if you've ever experienced sound-emitting surfaces on a device, let me know. I wonder how good are they? How good is the stereo and how good is the sound reproduction? Our voices, have it got nice crisp mids for the voices? Is there a decent bass to it? Is there okay clarity? It would be a great step forward. And of course, the iPad mini would be perfect to be more water resistant because I'm guessing that's the sort of iPad you might take away with you on holiday. It might be poolside. It could certainly stand up in the kitchen or stand up in the bathroom while you're taking a shower. So it's a sort of device that could be in situations where it's likely to get water ingress. So if they can give it an IP rating, that's all to the good. And all of these little factors would lend towards it being a worthwhile upgrade, even for somebody like myself, to get their next iPad mini. Certainly an OLED display. I think that's going to be the big ticket, that OLED display. Now, there was a question with the iPhone Ultra coming out as to the longevity of iPad mini, but I don't see that being a problem, to be honest with you. They're two very different devices. Although the open flat size of the Ultra, if that's what the folder is going to be called, is very similar. It's a 7.8-inch display with a 4:3 ratio and 4.5mm thick, whereas the Mini is possibly 8.3, 8.7 inches now, and a 3:2 ratio and 6.3mm thick. So they're kind of similar looking devices open up. But the thing is with the iPhone Ultra, well, A, it's the cost. It's going to be at least £2,000. And if you begin putting some more storage on there, boy, you're going to be paying heavily for it. It'd be well north of £2,000. So price is one differentiator between the two. And that phone isn't for everybody. It's going to be for tech enthusiasts and people that just want to try the very first Apple foldable. But that's the point. It's a first. And generally, most firsts aren't perfect. There's flaws. There's issues. Now, I know Apple have delayed the release of the foldable for the crease on the screen. And from what we hear, it's negligible. It's almost invisible. But who's to say that there won't be some issues with the mechanism or with the display? It's just too early to tell. You're buying into first-gen technology. And as much as I'm excited about it, do you think I should get one? It's a lot of money. I'd be selling my soul to try and get one for the channel. If you'd like me to try and scrape together the money to try and get an Ultra, I'm sure Apple won't be giving me a unit to review. Let me know so I can panic through August and worry about September. But you see what I mean? It's a very, very different device. They're not, although the open flat size is similar, the actual user case and the users who would be interested in it are very, very different. So those are the rumours that are coming for iPad mini. A better display, different speaker setup, and a new chip as well. And possibly a larger display. Would those features be something that you want? I mean, all of those features bring ever nearer to being an iPad mini Pro, other than in name surely, and I know there's been a clamour for that, but it just made me realise over the course of these last couple of days how much I've reached for this. It's been invaluable, it really has. It's been like having this notebook with me, but in a digital fashion. So I haven't had to take a pen with me, I can just take this. I love my notebook, by the way. For those of you that notice my notebook, as you can tell, it is very well used. I've even started putting tickets and receipts and things like that in it from when I've been out at various places. It goes with me everywhere. But anyway, I just realised how much I was using the iPad mini. Over these last couple of videos, I've forgotten to do the thing that I meant to do. Ask you to sub. I don't really want to do that. I want the content to be good enough that you're enjoying these videos. I'm going to keep going with these ones. You seem to enjoy the relaxed, informative style of them, and I love talking to you like this. I really do. It's just me free-flowing. When an idea comes to my head, I make some notes, I put the camera on, and we sit and chat. So if you do like this video, give it a sub, because things are slow at the moment. Things are slow in YouTube land. Something weird is going on. So if you're enjoying the video, do your bit for me. But let me know if you're interested in a new iPad with all those new features on it. Would that be enough to make you go and buy the new iPad mini? I'll leave another video at the end now for you to watch about an iPad mini that I made a few months ago. But I'll tell you, I'm a huge, huge fan of it. What a lovely device.